Many of us have not traveled in quite a while. We've just been staying around our homes or in our hometown. But if you're like me and you love to travel, you may be feeling like you'd love to get away and go somewhere. But books can do that for us. When we can't get away, books can take us away. And I have a book series I'd love to share with you, so stay tuned for Remember Books. So the Walk series is a 5-book series, and it takes you on a walk across America. The main character, Alan, is deciding to walk, and I can't give it away why he decides to walk, but the whole book in the 5-book series goes from Seattle, Washington to Key West, Florida. And it's 5 books, so each book deals with a different section of that walk. And each book has in it a little map, which is very handy because it tells you where he's going. And starting from Seattle to Spokane is this first book. And it talks about the places he stopped, the people he meets, where he stays, the adventures that happen along the way. And it really is like being away, going there. It's very detailed. He writes in a kind of a diary style, and if you've ever read Richard Paul Evans, you're familiar with that. But it feels like it's very first person, and it's just like he's talking to you. And it's really nice. And I'd like to read an excerpt from The Walk. So I'm going to begin in the kind of middle. The Walk by Richard Paul Evans. The first spark of the idea came to me as I watched the banker back his silver Audi out of my driveway. At that moment, one of my elderly neighbors walked by, Mr. Jorgensen, from 3 houses down. Mr. Jorgensen was wearing a polyester baby blue jacket and straw hat and was leaning against a cane. He had Parkinson's and was shaking as he walked. I don't know why seeing him triggered what it did. Who knows where ideas come from? But at the moment it was clear to me what I had to do. Perhaps the only thing left for me to do. I needed to walk far away. In retrospect, that moment wasn't really the first time the thought of walking long distance had crossed my mind. When I was 15, I read a book about a guy who walked across America. And ever since then, I had secretly wanted to follow in his steps, literally. I don't think I'm alone in this fantasy. I believe that in spite of the chains we bind ourselves with, there's a primordial section of the human psyche that is still nomadic and still yearns to roam free. We see evidence of this in the walkabouts of the Australian Aborigines and the spirit walk of the Native Americans. We also see it cautiously peeking out its head in our own culture, surfacing in our own literature and music, from Thoreau to Steinbeck to Kerouac. Each generation believes they have discovered the dream anew, but it's not new. Every generation has dreamed of roaming. Deep in our hearts, everyone wants to walk free. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. I read that in a Chinese fortune cookie. Technically, I suppose it wasn't really a fortune, more of a proverb, and probably wasn't even Chinese. It was likely just some American copywriter churning out yarns for a cookie company. I suppose all those years in advertising had made me cynical. Whatever its origin, the proverb was applicable. Mentally and emotionally, I found that a walk as far as Key West was a little hard to wrap my mind around. My ultimate destination might as well have been China. I needed an interim target, a destination that was far enough to motivate me but close enough not to break my will. That place was on the other side of the state. I set my mind on Spokane. The drive from Seattle to Spokane along I-90 is about 4 hours by car, but I wasn't traveling by car, and 90 is an interstate. The highway patrol would definitely have some problems with my route. The preferred, and my preferred, I mean legal route for bikers and hikers is Highway 2, a scenic 2-lane road that climbs through the Cascade Mountains up to Stevens Pass, one of Washington's ski resorts. I knew that at that time of the year there would be snow on the pass, but I pushed it from my mind. I'd deal with that when I got there. Well, I hope you enjoyed the excerpts of the walk. There really is so much more to this book and series. You would have plenty of reading, and I hope that maybe this will go on your TBR. And like I said, it starts with the walk, and then it's Miles to Go is the second book, and then it is A Road to Grace, A Step of Faith, and then Walking on Water is the 5th book. And that's when you get to Key West. So stay tuned for more Remember books. We have lots in store for you ahead. Have a great day.